Hello, all of my favorite new teachers. I'm so grateful that you're here today, and I'm going to be talking today about what is classroom management. Classroom management is the physical, social, emotional, and academic environment that you are responsible for. And I just say that, and it makes me just think how important the role of the teacher is in the class, right? I mean, we know this, but it's beyond imparting information to kids. It's so much more the responsibility of a teacher for the children in their care. Just like a parent parents their children, a teacher shepherds their children as well, right? I spend a lot of time online. I mean, I have an online business, so it kind of is par for the course. And once you get into once you get into the lost world of the internet, you can spend a lot of time there. And I find myself lost often and lost in the comments of the teaching pages and the teaching sites. And I recognize and realize real quickly how teaching is becoming really polarized, right? Teachers who are venting and sharing their concern and upset, and teachers who are thriving and enjoying and positively talking about their career. And that doesn't mean that you are always negative or always positive, or just because somebody's venting that they're not a good teacher. But I really see this shift of talking about education from people really enjoying their jobs to people not. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But one of them is because teachers are feeling isolated, expected to handle all of these responsibilities of teaching that have always been there, but seem to have escalated with student behaviors, um, outcomes and expectations of students in testing after COVID, and how we kind of just like shifted and expected kids to be on track, even though we knew that they weren't going to be. So testing, um, student behaviors, lack of accountability and support in many situations in our schools. And that puts the heavy burden on the teacher. So I want to go back and discuss again what is classroom management and what are you responsible for, right? What can you control and what can you not control? And so redefine classroom management is the physical, social, emotional, and academic environment that you are in control of. When those students come into your class, you are responsible for the environment that you create. I posted to somebody the other day who was talking about their student and a student behavior. And I've talked to a lot of my clients about it as well, is we are not able to control people. Teachers don't control students. You cannot control the children in your care. You control the environment, right? And this is one of the reasons that rewards and reward systems really don't work, which I can save for another video, but they don't work because the idea behind them is to control student behaviors, and it doesn't work for everyone. And it least likely works for the ones who you want it to most work for, right? And so when we try to control people, we find even more disagreements, being at odds with each other, than when you control the environment that they walk into, and then they know how to behave and respond in your environment. So let's think for a minute, the things that are within your locus of control, right? The environment, the procedures and routines that get built because of the daily consistency that you put in place, right? Your accountability systems and rules. You can't control how students are going to respond, but you can control how you put in place these things, how you respond back to students when they push the boundaries, right? You build relationships with students. You get to know them. You know who's struggling and who is in environments that feel unhealthy or unsafe to them, right? Who's feeling like they come in and they're not feeling themselves today. They got in a fight with their parents this morning. They broke up with their girlfriend last night. I mean, our students at different stages deal with a lot of, I would almost call them adult problems, younger and younger, because those adult problems are placed on them. And the older our students are, our seniors in high school, for example, they're getting ready to be the adult, and they're pushing and they're trying to identify who they are and where they're going, and they're facing a lot of fears and 18 years of being at home with the very real possibility that in a few months, that's not going to be their world anymore. Our little ones who are facing contentious divorces or traumatic home experiences or whatever, they bring all these things to the class. One of the common conversations that teachers are having is about what parents are doing wrong that's influencing the way that the schools are having to respond. And I wanted to address this really quickly because our society, our parenting has been a mess. It's been a mess. This is not the past couple of years thing. Parents do the very best they know how within the capabilities of what they've got going on, right? Some parents don't have skills to parent. Some teachers don't have skills to deal with specific behaviors. That does not make them a bad teacher. It makes them uneducated or unprepared for the situation that they've got. And yes, they chose to have children, and we're not going to get into that because there's nothing we can do about it. But I promise you that a child who behaves one way at home can and will behave differently at school. Now, I don't know what just happened to my I don't know. We just had my AI notes just went on. Hold on, give me just a second. I will kick them out because I don't know what is happening to. Thank you for your patience. We do the best that we can do. You are responsible for the environment that you have. And my children, who in front of me are not going to do specific things like cuss, be disgusting, be disrespectful, can most certainly do those things out in public. Right? I was typical brown-nosed kid, right? Let's go with it. I was a goody two-shoes kid. I did what I was supposed to. I still have a really heightened sense of justice and fairness and equality and equity and all these things that makes me upset when I feel that something is unfair or unjust. You think I didn't push the boundaries? I just was smart enough to do it when my parents weren't there. Right? So I didn't want to get spanked. And not that I ever really got spanked, but I had a healthy fear. On the contrary, some kids can behave very poorly at home and behave very well at school. No one is in control of somebody else. So let's stop placing blame elsewhere and start looking at where we can take control of our situations and our environments so that we can minimize, you can minimize distractions and disruptions so that you can enjoy teaching, right? So let's just start there. Classroom management is the physical, emotional, and academic environment that you are in charge of. Physically, you are in charge of setting up the desks, arranging the walkways and pathways and movements, setting up the materials and resources for students in such a way that sets up the learning environment for success. For you to feel like you are in control of the environment, that you are the captain of that ship, that you can move freely near the students, get around and help people evenly, have and minimize disruptions and distraction talking. You set up the environment for the success that you want it to be. You create the routines. And I'm going to back that up. You create the procedures that become routine because you do them day and day and day. You hold the rules, you hold the accountability systems, and you create the engaging lessons that keep the kids there to learn. You are not here to control children. You are responsible for the environment that you've created that creates a safe space, a safe and positive learning environment, the Cal TPA calls it, a safe and positive learning environment where kids can engage freely in learning without fear, safety issues, and distractions from their academic learning. And when students push those boundaries, you have solidly in place the boundary, the fence that they cannot push through. Because we know that kids will push and push and push and push and push the boundaries, right? And if they spread and they grow and they break, they're gonna make you lose your mind. But when you keep the boundary and you teach them how to function and be a part of the environment that you've created, you will eliminate those distracting behaviors. So today I'm just excited because it's kicking off my first series of videos on classroom management. Today is what is classroom management. We will be jumping into other things, breaking down the pieces, understanding your role, what is important, what is that you're able to control and what you are not able to control, and what to do when you are in a situation of something that you did not create, right? So hang in there. Look for the upcoming videos. They're going to be on YouTube, my New Teachers Thriving Facebook group, and I would love you to join, participate, engage in the conversation, and look for ways that I can support you to take control of your class, eliminate distracting behaviors, and thrive in your environment. My name is Keisha Fiore. I'm excited to be with you today and in the future, and I wish you all the very best. Have a great day.